Thank you. Money questions can be tricky for anyone, and an upcoming event can help you make sense of your own situation and take steps to improve it. Housing and Credit Counseling is behind it. One of their longtime counselors who's officially retired, but really not so much, Rogers Brazier, is here with details. Welcome to you. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Melissa. It's wonderful to be here.
What do you call the session that you're going to be doing Tuesday at the library?
Understanding credit scores and credit reports.
How important is that to our overall financial well-being and financial picture?
Well, for most of us, it's pretty important. It can have some significant impacts, both good or bad. If we have a good credit history and we want to buy a home, we're going to get hopefully a prime rate, which these days can make a significant difference over a period of time on how much we pay. Insurance premiums can be lower if we have a good credit history. We might get the housing we want. We might get the job we want if we have a good credit history.
I think a lot of times, especially in today's day and age, I think of a credit report as only something we need to worry about when we think maybe our identity's been stolen and somebody's trying to use our name. But what all goes into that credit report that makes it valuable in everyday life?
For a thief, our Social Security number and some other personal identifiable information that they can then use to impersonate us and take out credit in our name. But in general, what goes into it is our credit history, and personal identifying information, Social Security number, addresses where we've lived at the times we've applied for credit, which gets captured and put into a credit file. Trade lines, which is just a fancy industry term for the different credit accounts we've had, some open, some closed, depends on the individual. So a lot of information that deals with our credit reporting history. What's not in a credit report: political affiliations, bank accounts, how much we earn at a job, things that have nothing to do with whether or not we pay our bills. So it's information limited to how have we interacted with creditors in the past.
I find that interesting when you say that. It's basically a matter of whether or not you pay your bills, not necessarily the means behind them. When you said that your total income isn't there, it's just are you paying your bills?
Right.
That's what they're considering. How do we improve that number?
Well, it's on a case-by-case basis, but in general, it helps to know what's in our credit file instead of just looking at a number someplace. And they're pretty easily accessible, and actually somebody can come see us. And
that's part of what the program on Tuesday is going to be. Things officially start at 6 o'clock, and the first thing people can do in that first half hour is come, and you will help them get their credit report.
Exactly. It is actually the very nice people there at the library. They'll have laptops set up, and if you show up at 6, they will make a best effort to access your credit report via annualcreditreport.com and print it off for you.
Okay. Anything you need to bring along in order for that to happen?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, identification and know your Social Security number.
Okay.
You'll need that. And then at 6:30 I start yakking and with a PowerPoint, and we go for till about 8 o'clock or so, and we do a deep dive on credit reports and credit scores and help people to understand how the scores are generated and how it works. And we give real life examples anonymously. You can't see whose reports. But we give real life examples of how people have improved their scores and what they did to do it, and also the impacts of bad credit and what brings a score down, what takes a score up.
Will you also offer some practical advice to get that score better, and the budgeting and all of that's involved?
Yeah, we won't necessarily dig into budgeting. That's a separate class altogether.
Yeah.
But we talk about basically getting to a point where, like, if you want the score to go up generally, know what's in the file, always pay the bills on time, all the time, never miss a payment, got to be perfect. That's a big part of the score right there. If I've got debt, bring it down to 0 as quickly as possible, get aggressive. If I'm using the cards, charge cards, credit cards, the plastic, not recommended, but if I am using them, use them sparingly. So on a monthly basis, 10% or less of the available credit limit, wait for the statement, pay it off in full. So I'm not paying interest, I'm not going into debt. So get rid of debt, use the cards sparingly, pay them off in full each month if I'm using them. Don't open new files for no good reason. Don't close open files. If I have damage, clean it up. We can help people clean up the damage on a credit report.
And that's a good teaser for all the stuff they're going to talk about on Tuesday. The credit reports and credit building program is coming up. That should actually say Tuesday, February 6th. I was getting ahead of myself when I made this. Starting at 6 o'clock over at Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. So on Tuesday, show up at 6, program at 6:30. Rogers, appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Melissa.
So much great information. It is a day designed to help young people be the best they can be. Find out when it is and what's in store next.